Captains, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, USS Endeavor, and welcome aboard the Mackinson, the Tier 5 German battlecruiser on the tech tree line. And as a highlight real quick before you skip to the gameplay, the differences, the key ones between the Mackinson and the Derflinger are as follows. Higher caliber guns, hydroacoustic search, better armor, higher fire chance, longer secondary range. All those make this ship superior to the Derflinger. But we're going to go into the stats more detail here in a sec. So if you want to skip, those are the big differences. The gameplay code is down below. Our commander is yet again auto celiacs, but we did make a couple of adjustments. So I wanted to point those out, the differences between what this build has versus the Derflinger. Hipper remains the same, haven't changed him. Fuso, I was able to upgrade from 14 to 15, so slightly better fire chance. It's now over 2.5%, with a little bit more, actually. So that just spices up the HE fire chance for both main guns and secondaries to a highly educated crew, which isn't a change, but I still want to point out the main difference or the rework for celiacs. Secondary gun range is longer than Porcupine with 2 damage control charges, which I'll explain in a minute. But moving on to advanced schemes, which is the second new addition to celiacs. Increases the secondary shell damage, and it increases the fire chance. And coupled with Fuso, makes the fire chance for secondaries a lot higher. Onto the mod slots. Secondary battery mod 2 and first slot is no surprise. That's gonna be my pick for every ship, so just get used to it. Increasing firing range and battery dispersion to make it a little bit more accurate. The second mod slot, now that we're at tier 5, I decided to use propulsion mods so that I can get into positions a little bit faster, back up if I need to, if I hit islands. The rudder shift would be okay too, but I'm going with this one. Another big difference that I forgot to mention on the commander screen is that I included in the fourth perk slot, giving me the extra heal. So instead of having 3 charges, I now am back to 5. They come in handy in this match, so I'm glad I did it. And it definitely helps with your survivability. It's a good pick. Second one is the enhanced secondary targeting system. Again, increasing your grouping by 100% and dispersion by 50% for 30 seconds this time, which is a little bit longer duration than the Derflinger. And last, which is the newest addition and very welcome one at that, your sonar, which gives you a torpedo detection of 3.7, but mainly the detection of ships at 5.3 kilometers. Good duration. This is key and makes the Mackensen just that much more fun. Definitely a welcome addition than the Derflinger. Moving on to the individual ship stats with the survivability. You have almost 5,000 more hit points. Armor we'll look at here soon, but you actually lose a little bit in your torpedo damage reduction. Not quite sure how that works, but it goes from 22% down to 19%. Onto the artillery, which is a very good positive change. You have the same amount of guns, but they're 350 millimeters as opposed to 305s. So that's a bonus. Your reload time has gone up slightly because of the caliber, but your 180-degree turn time has gotten much faster. Your HE shell damage is 4,000, which is 500 more than the Derflinger. Fire setting chance is higher. AP shell damage is also higher. Secondary armament, you have all the exact same amount as the Derflinger plus 4 more on the 150s down below. The reload for those 88s is at 3.6 seconds with a 9% chance to set fires, really high. And on the 150s, the reload time is 8.6 seconds with a 15% chance to set fires. So this thing is a fire setting machine. Onto your AA defense, which is pretty laughable. You don't have any defense when it comes to AA, and that's the weak point of this line. Don't get hit by planes. The last 2 sections with the maneuverability and concealment are actually slightly worse on the Mackinson than they are on the Derflinger, and it's just something you're going to have to get used to. Maximum speed has gone up slightly, but the turning circle radius and rotor shift time are both slightly worse at 780 meters and 14 seconds respectively. Your concealment also is taking a hit because you're a little bit bigger of a ship and you have larger caliber guns. So your detectability range by sea has gone up to 13.6. Detectability by air, 11.2. And firing and smoke, 11.9. Never advisable. Don't rely on smoke. For the individual ship stats, my win rate is 70% off of, looks like 13, 15 games. So if you want to pause it and look at them more in detail, you can do so. The armor on this sucker has gotten a little bit of an upgrade, and that's a welcome one. You no longer have the 19 millimeter upper belt in the bow and stern. It's now 25 millimeters, which is very good. And the icebreaker is still strong enough to bounce anything at this tier. So if anybody shoots you waterline and you're angled correctly, not going to do much. Moving on, you're going to look at the cross section here on a top-down view. You've got a pretty decent deck armor. 25 millimeters is the green part, and that orangish section is actually 50 millimeters. So this is a tough ship. It doesn't look like it, but it really, really is. It's still a battleship. And probably the biggest weakness that you have with your armor is your citadel, which is slightly above the water line. And because there is no turtleback scheme with this line, you are vulnerable up close. So you have to maintain those angles or you can get blapped. Not only is it a little bit above, but it extends again from the front turret to the rear turret. So it is a pretty standard citadel. So just keep that in mind. We are on the map Warriors Path, and we are top tier. We're facing up against a couple of tier 4 cruisers, a couple of destroyers, and tier 5 battleships. And so what we're going to do, we're on the condensed map, and we already have a cap. They already have a cap. Bravo is the only one that is neutral. So we spawn on this side. We're going to stick to this side, and we're going to move in, and we're going to help our destroyer who is moving, which is a welcome sight. And we have the Nevada over here to keep us, to back us up. But we're going to be pushing in. The one thing about this line that I enjoy is it can be aggressive. Now, you don't want to be too aggressive, otherwise you're going to get removed rather quickly. Because even though it is a battleship, it's more of a battle cruiser, and it doesn't have the strongest armor like the main German battleship line has. It does suffer from a weaker bow than the regular German line does, but overall it's still really tanky. If you know how to angle properly, you can sustain a lot of damage. Our secondaries are a lot farther. I think they're 8.5 kilometers now, which again is the longest at the tier. So you want to get into positions where your secondaries can cover any ships that happen to wander in. And so we just got to support this destroyer as best as he can. He's behind the island. He's trying to cap, and he's doing a relatively good job. He can't really spot right now because he doesn't want to get pushed, although I would have appreciated him being able to spot some of these ships. I need him to get the cap. And here it's contested, so I don't know if that is the cruiser that we saw that was pushing in or if it's a destroyer. More than likely it could be either. Here the Dunkirk pops up, so we got a free shot. Might as well take it. These guns are, again, they're a little wonky, a little trolly. They're not the most accurate, but still use them. One benefit of these guns that I failed to mention before is that the very rear turret, starting with tier 5 and moving all the way up, if you can see right now, it can turn all the way across the main center line and go to the far right side without having to turn the entire 270 degrees, which is really good. It allows you to get that extra turret that you normally wouldn't. And there we get to shoot it right there, which definitely helps. Didn't get a citadel there. But the point is that 3 of those turrets can stay on target, shifting left and right. Now, the 3rd turret, the one closest to the stacks in the rear, that one still has to turn the full length. But it's better than nothing. Here we'll take a shot at the Yahagi, and we remove him. I have a feeling his torpedoes are going to be coming this way because he has a very narrow angle to shoot those, and there they are. We were able to dodge the ones also from the left, and our destroyer is not looking so good, so we need to push in here. We got our hydro running because of those torpedoes and that threat. I wanted to get in here. Here again, I'm just checking my range of the hydro and the range of my secondaries again, because I think I forgot. But the Aoba gets a triple fire on us, and so we're like, you know what? I'm going to damage con that, because triple fire is pretty hilarious. Especially for my Aoba, that's just really good RNG, so well done. We use the damage con. We have 5 charges of them, so we have to be careful, but that's a good use of them right there. The one thing that I like about these is that they are fast reloading, so we don't have to wait over a minute. We only have to wait like a little over 30 seconds to get our damage con back, but we do have limited amounts, so don't use them all up really fast, otherwise you'll be a sitting duck at the end of the match. But had to use one there. I'm not going to take a triple fire, and we were able to heal all that back, because fire damage, you can heal all that back. Heals don't exactly come back nearly as fast as my damage cons do, so here the Fubuki is lit up by our hydro range, and after 5.3 he's going to go dark right there. But we know where he's at, our destroyer knows where he's at, and here I kind of wish that our destroyer wouldn't push out. Let me be the one to tank the damage, and you kind of sit back. He's too far low, and he ventures out just a little too far, and unfortunately pays the price. I appreciate him coming over here. He wasn't sitting in the far back and going to God knows where. I mean, he was in a good position. I think he just pushed a little too far forward. He did get the torpedoes off on the Aoba, which is still backing up. And here, this is where it gets really fun with this ship. We're in a really good position. We got both of our secondaries popping off on both sides of the ship. We're making everybody here really uncomfortable. They're trying to get out of dodge. The Aoba can't. We remove him. The destroyer's right there. He just got his torpedoes off, so I got a little bit of time before he's going to get them off again. But they are pretty fast reloading. And here I use the damage con again in the heal, because I'm on a double fire, and I saw that he had used those torpedoes just then. And now we're just trying to get into a position to let our secondaries get into work. I don't need this Nevada to get to my broadside, so that's why I'm pushing up. We're in the cap. We're contesting it. They're not generating points, even though they did have the cap. And we need to get rid of this destroyer. And there he smokes up, and our hydro's on cooldown. And this is where not having it is going to cost me some hit points, because he's going to get his torpedoes back. And I knew that was happening, but and I'm still spotted, so there's really nothing I can do. I know they're coming. I'm going to eat a couple of these, but I'm getting my damage con back right away. So as soon as those hit, I use it back again and negate all that flood damage. But we were able to take out that destroyer, which is ideal. So now I just got to get turned around to deal with this Nevada. Thankfully, he's removed, and we're up to 3 kills now, which is pretty spicy. And so we're turning back around. I want to stay in this cap, but I'm also trying to get to the broadside of this Nevada. I wasn't sure where he was at. There the DeGrasse pops up, and he's not shooting at me. He's not focusing me. We got a little bit of an angle on him. We can shoot over these, so we're going to take the shot. Can we get a decent hit on him? Yeah, that's a pretty good chunk. I'll take that. Still trying to turn around. We do end up venturing outside of the cap a little bit there, which is not ideal, but we're going to get back in. And so our heal's back. I probably should not have popped my heal here. I did pop my secondary booster to start getting hits on this Nevada. This Nevada's broadside, so we're going to shoot at him, and we get a good hit, giving us our Confederate and a fire. We need more fires on this. He damage cons it, so any more fires that we can get on him from here on out is going to stick. So that's ideal. Getting back into the cap, we want to stay angled because the Nevada does have some pretty chunky shells. And the DeGrasse gets a double fire on us, which, again, this is why I wish I wouldn't have used that heal so quickly, because I damage con that, and now I'm just hoping that I don't get hit again. We get a fire on the Nevada. I shoot the rear turrets because I don't want to open up my angle to the Nevada. I gotta stay angled like this. But we're going to take some hits here, and that's kind of the downside to this ship. It kind of follows along the whole adage that you're here for a good time, not necessarily a long time. And we are definitely aggressive. We get a double fire against us again. Would have been helpful to have healed that back earlier, but not to be. And I don't know if we're going to be able to get another heal off. We get our damage con back, but because we got a triple fire and we're using fight fire with fire, it immediately puts it out. We get a high caliber, but right before we're able to get our heal off, we go down and get a kill on the Nevada for our efforts, which is great. Now we have 2 of the caps. Our teammates on the opposite side of the map have done a really good job. We're tied in ships now, so I'll just let the rest of the match play off in the background, and I'm not going to spoil what happens, but just kind of watch how everything unfolds at the end. But I feel like we really did our job. We got 4 kills. We just made a mess of things in Bravo Cap. We weren't able to take the cap, but we were in it long enough to negate a lot of the points that the red team had worked hard to get. Our destroyer unfortunately went down when he did, but we did a really good job, and I'm really thankful for the result. That last end sequence right as I was going down was a little unfortunate, and that RNG was not on my side. I kept getting fires against me, and thankful I had those extra damage con charges because I think I ended up using almost all of them. But that just kind of shows how powerful Celiax is now. Because of the rework, they give him those extra charges to be able to use in those types of scenarios, allowing you to make those aggressive plays and it really matter in those moments. There our battleship takes out the Dunkirk finally. He had survived a while sitting there in the mid there. So I only got 2 ships left to deal with. The Mutsu takes a really nasty hit on this Byron right here, and it's got torpedoes off. But the Byron's gonna finish off the Mutsu because the Mutsu is a Mutsu, and yeah. So doesn't have the best armor. Not known as being the best battleship. Although it does have some pretty big guns and torpedoes at tier 5. But there he goes down. So now it's a 2v2, but the Bayern is really, really low. And then you've got the DeGrasse, who was a pain in the Batuski against us earlier. But our team's going to do a good job of mopping up the rest of these, and we're going to end up with a win. So what do I think of the Mackinson? It's definitely a step up from the Derflinger. And the next ship in the line, the tier 6, is going to be even more of a step up. And we get even more utility, making it that much more fun. And so stick around for that. This is just a fun line. If you enjoy being aggressive and having a ship that's just really, really fun, this is the line for you. It's definitely the line for me. I enjoy it a lot. So that's going to wrap it up. We end up taking the win here and almost have a Kraken in this one, but we did have a high caliber and a Confederate and a kill right as we died. So really good, fun match. So top of the leaderboard, almost 2,400 base XP. GG's to all my team members and GG's to the Reds as well. Fun match all the way around. Almost, it could have gone either way at the end there, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, that's going to do it for me today. Gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to do the next ship. Thanks for being patient with me on this one. Had a little bit of a hard day the day before and wasn't able to get it out when I wanted to. But thanks for waiting. And like, share, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you thought. We're really coming close to 50 subscribers, and when we do, I'm going to be doing a giveaway, so stay tuned for that. But you got to be subscribed in order to take advantage of that. So you guys have a wonderful day. I will talk to you in the next video. USS Endeavor signing off.